Hello and welcome to another episode of the Portrait Profit Show. My name is Jim Landers, and my mission is simple. I help portrait photographers just like you make a great income doing what they love. Each week on the Portrait Profit Show, you get tips and systems on the business side of photography designed to help you gain a mastery over marketing and sales, reducing the struggles that most photographers face so you can finally get what you deserve. You're in the right place. Welcome to the Portrait Profit Show. The Portrait Profit Show is brought to you by Digital Pro Lab and Landers Photography School. And today, I want to encourage you to make comments and hit that like button, hit that love button. So before leaving a comment, I want you to click on and I'm going to put it across the bottom of the screen right now. We use a program or a platform called StreamYard that causes us to be able to simulcast the show to multiple different pages. So several different Facebook pages, YouTube pages, and LinkedIn. And so for those of you who are on Facebook, then I want you to click on this link that you're seeing here going across your screen, and that is streamyard.com/Facebook. That causes us to be able to see your name. Otherwise, it just says user. It's anonymous. If you want to remain anonymous, then don't do this. But if you don't mind me seeing your name, then I want you to do that because I want some interaction. And I want you to hit that live in the comments section. I want you to hit hashtag live or enter hashtag live so that I know you're here. I know that you're watching. If you're watching this as a replay, then do me a favor and do hashtag replay. Hashtag replay. But for those of you who are watching right now, hashtag live. And do me one more favor. In the top right corner or in the post, one of the options you have there is, the like and love, the comment, and the share. Do me a favor, click that share. Let other people know that this is here and this is available, that we are doing something that is beneficial to the entire photographer community. And when you share, you uplift the entire photographer community. So do us all a favor, hit that share button. And if you know someone in particular that you feel that could benefit from the business side of photography, then enter in their name. Do that in the comments, just an @ and their name, and they will get a message that this is going on right now. So thank you for sharing that. Before I go, let me get rid of that. And before I move into bringing the panelists on, I want to bring on Amanda from Digital Pro Lab. Hey, Amanda, how are you doing?
Hey, Jim. I'm doing fabulous. Just got back from an 11-day long vacation in Scotland. Took a little detour trip to Manchester, so Ray could actually see a Manchester City soccer game. So that was exciting.
Of course.
Yeah,
Nice.
I'm really glad to be back. I took a lot of pictures, so I'll be going through those soon enough. But I'm excited. First Portrait Profits back is a panel, which I'm always excited about because I always learn a lot. I love to hear everybody's story,
Yes.
journey, building their businesses, because those stories are diverse, but they're also very similar. So I know that the individuals watching are going to always learn something, even relate to a lot of things. So that's why I love those panels. So always excited to be here for that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you had fun on your trip. 11 days. Did that feel like just right? Too short? Too long?
I think it was just right. Took a little while to ease into it. I know, I'm sure all of y'all can relate to. It's tough to leave your businesses because you got a lot to do. Never finding enough time to do absolutely everything. So when you have to leave, there's definitely a little bit of a struggle to let go. But once you finally are on vacation and you finally do let go and say, you know what, I know I've got a large team, that I've built here. So that confidence that I have in them was great. And they took care of everything. And it was wonderful to be able to come back and not have to deal with too many fires or anything. It was
Good.
very grateful for them. So I know they're not on here, but I gave them all pats on the back, brought them back souvenirs and whatnot as well.
Nice.
Yeah, they did great.
Very nice. Well, we as photographers, we're well aware that you have a great team because your team helps us look like heroes to our clients. So
And
they've been that they benefit us, and we're grateful they benefit you too.
yeah, no, we're excited. I know a lot of prints have been coming through. We're very excited to see that. I know it's Contemporary Art Month, so we're seeing a lot of creative, fine art stuff coming through as well. So, people are getting very creative with their printing, and I know my staff is a big part of cultivating that side of it, getting creative with the creatives and saying, okay, like let's come up with something more unique that maybe we haven't seen before. What products have you not really tried out? So they enjoy that, and I know our creative community and all facets enjoy that creative process because that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah, no
Especially in
kidding.
portraits, we got to create something.
That's right. Totally agree.
Yeah.
Well, you and I both are excited about today's panel. We're always excited about the panel and the different points of view, the perspectives, the experiences that are brought to us, because it's good to hear things from to hear a point of view. It's also good to hear lots of different points of view of that same subject, and that's the purpose of our panel, of course. And so I want to. I want to welcome you guys to today's Portrait Profits panel discussion, where we'll be exploring how following your passions gives advantages to you as a person, not only as a person, but as a business owner. And so our panel of experts includes two professional photographers and a digital marketer. So you can really hear something from a totally different point of view. With their unique perspectives, each is going to share their experiences, their insights, their motivations for choosing a niche or a niche, however you want to say it, and explain what they feel is so important for doing so. So sit back, relax, maybe grab a notepad and a pen and get ready to be inspired. You're in for a treat. So let's get started and bring in our panelists. So let's bring them into the screen. Let's see. Here we go. Hi, you guys. How's it going?
Hi.
I'm
Hey,
so glad you guys are here. Uh, oh, I think one of you is muted. There
there
we
you go.
go. So,
Got all the technology.
uh, exactly. Well, thank you guys for investing your time. This, I know that you guys have things that are going on, and you had, to put those things aside in order to do this. So, on behalf of the photographers, if I could be so bold as to speak on behalf of all the photographers in the San Antonio area and well beyond, because we do have people watching from all over. Thank you for giving us your time and attention this evening.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for having us.
So I'm going to bring each one of you guys on one at a time. So let me take you back off temporarily and I'll bring you back. So let's see. All right, Amanda, you ready for this?
Let's do it. I'm ready.
Good. All right. Let's see. I want to bring Mercedes back on. Hey, Mercedes, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Jim?
Doing well. I'm so glad you're here. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Yes. So I own my own photography business. It's Mercedes Harlan Photography, and I kind of got started after I finished school at Landers Photography School. I completed all my basics there, and Jim kind of got me started. I kind of knew from then that I wanted to photograph horses. I've always been very drawn to horses. They've always been a big part of my life. So for me, that's been a big thing is figuring out how to market to that area, how to find those clients. You know, follow my passion. And so I've kind of taken what Jim taught me and applied it where I can and kind of taken off with my business. And it's been a slow process, as everything. It takes a while to build and everything. But I wanted to specialize in equine photography. That's what I wanted from the beginning, and that was something I was very passionate about. So I've always wanted a lot of pictures of me and my horses, and especially when I was a young girl, and I didn't get that. So I want to be able to offer that to people. Horses kind of are people's children, to some degree. So they um, they're very passionate about them. They want images with them, and so that's just kind of where I've went, and I think it being a passion of mine's made it easy, I guess, to some degree. But um, that's just kind of what I've done. I don't think I have much more than that, but um, it's just kind of following your passion.
Love it. And I've never owned a horse, but I have definitely known yourself and other horse owners. They're pretty passionate. They love those guys, and I think they
Yeah,
love. I think the horses love them back. So I can
yeah.
understand why you'd have that passion.
You get a very strong bond with a horse. If you can bond with them, it's very strong, and I really enjoy capturing that. Like I like capturing that bond that people have, and so that's what draws me to it. I do other types of photography too, but that's my passion. That's my specialty. So
Nice. Well, thank you for uh, investing your time and spending your time here on the panel and being willing to share what you know, your experiences.
of
So
course,
I'm gonna now bring up Jero. So thank you, Mercedes, and we'll bring you back in just a second.
okay.
Let's see, Jero, how's it
Hey,
going? I'm so glad
not
you're here.
too
You,
bad, Dad.
yeah. Well, tell us about you and what you enjoy doing.
My name is Drew Easterling. Pretty much everybody calls me Ro. I run All About You Media, and I predominantly deal in sports photography. I do dabble in other types of photography also, but right now it's mainly sports. Like I said, I used to um, pretty much take pictures from a young age, but it's only been about 2 years since I've actually been focused and serious on it. But like, um, let me see. I don't want to say this. Uh, just focusing on the sports photography, I can help out the children in club soccer and sports with hopefully taking their pictures and also doing highlight videos to help them decrease the cost of college for their parents also.
That's cool. So I didn't know anything about that. Did you want to share more about that?
Pretty much, I've been a soccer coach. I've been a referee. I've I love the sport of soccer and many other sports, basketball, track. But I found out that there's some of these organizations that you can do sports photography and video highlights for the individuals, and then that way, like I said, the coaches in college need to be able to find film on these individuals. So, like my daughter, she's a high school senior, so I've gotten hours and hours of highlight videos that I've done for her and some of her other club teammates. I've had people reach out to me for volleyball, basketball, but like I said, it's mainly it helps the parents and the child hopefully get a scholarship, knowing that as a former player of different sports myself, what coaches are looking for, and I do also know a lot of different college coaches around that have I've picked their brains about what they want.
Cool. Very good. All right. Well, thank you, Jero. And thank you for being here today. I'm going to bring Yusuf up and bring you back here in just a moment to answer some questions.
All right.
Let's see. Yusuf, how's it going today?
Very good, Jim. How are you?
Good, man. I'm so glad that you're here with me today. Thanks for dedicating this time and pushing something else off. I know that you are busy. You've got stuff going on, so you had to sacrifice something. You didn't share it with me, but I just know you. So thank you for being a good guy.
Yeah, I've been watching your show, and you do present a lot of good speakers and
a lot of good content, and I've been actually sharing it with some of my photography beginners. So it's pretty good.
Good. Well, I appreciate that. Well, can you tell us a little bit about you and what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So I started this. Right now I run a digital marketing agency here in San Antonio, Texas. I started as a hobby like more than 2 decades ago. It started from blogging to when MySpace came in the scene, to like videos, YouTube, and all that. Then later on, I realized that if I'm going to help my ideal customer, I have to understand what challenges and what issues that they're going through, and how can I provide those sort of solutions. So, as you know, within the digital marketing, I mean, you can look at digital marketing like a medical field with any variety of other branches, and the digital marketing is the same thing, right? So in the beginning, when all of us were struggling, I tried everything, but I did focus on like 5 or 6 areas, and after that, start to hire like smart people, contractors, and also collaborate with other agencies. That's how it's been ever since been going like that.
A lot of stuff on your plate. Did you hear me?
I'm sorry, you cut off for a second.
Did it cut out? So I was saying there's a lot of stuff on your plate.
Yeah, my plate's always full. Yeah, but this is interesting. This is a very interesting journey, you can say. So, because when I was young, I always wanted to be a teacher, right? And when I was in college, I wanted to start a business. So it's kind of like education is part of what I actually also specialize in terms of teaching and training startup community, other small businesses, and at the same time providing those services.
Nice. Well, I'm expecting you to bring a totally different perspective than photographers are that's what they're doing all the time. You are kind of looking at it from a different like if you're flying above it. They're on the ground, you're flying above what they're doing, and you can see some things that they're missing. They may know some things that you don't, but you don't need to know those things. And so I'm thinking that you're going to bring some cool stuff today, different perspectives than our other 2 photographers. And so that's why I thought you might be perfect for this, to bring in some high level view of what we're having to deal with on a daily basis.
It's kind of interesting because in our so-called digital inside circles, we used to always use photography website as a bad example.
Is that right?
You know what I'm talking about? Like back in the day, like we always use the website as an example, like what not to do, right? So, but ever since, I mean, they got advanced. They learned, and now they're doing very good. So
nice. Well, since I've got you on, I'm going to ask the first question of you.
yes.
And I'll post that one on the screen so everybody can see it. What have you learned so far in regards to narrowing down into specialization, and how has it informed your philosophy on how best to specialize? Like, how have you approached the decision to specialize, or how should a photographer potentially approach that decision, and what factors are influencing that decision?
I mean, the first thing is you have to know your fundamental very well. So look, if you talk about the photographer as an example, if you're a photographer, that means you know everything from the equipment, from the specialization of the camera, all the technical stuff that you guys do, right? You're so good at it technically. And secondly, your skills. Okay, if you're good at just photography in general, that's a good start, right? Now, the second thing is why specialization can help you, because if you want to do everything, I'm not saying it's not possible. It is possible if you want to do all kinds of photography. But with you as a human being, with your energy, what's going to happen is that if you're going to do everything, you're going to end up putting, let's say, I'm going to do 30% maybe with photography. I'm going to put like 35% on product photography. I'm going to put like another 20% on landscape photography. So what's going to happen? The result of that task going to be 30% quality, right? But if you pick one thing and focus 100% and be the best at it, this can help you in many aspects, because now you are the specialist in that area and your ideal customer will know you by that. Now, that doesn't mean you cannot do other kind of photography. Of course you can, because you do have the fundamental already taken care of. You do have the many skills taken care of in the first place. But now you tend to specialize, and this is what specialization is going to help you, because it can help you with even marketing effective because it's one niche. So all your energy, all your messages, all your ideas in that one niche, right? And you can focus on that one specific ideal customer, ideal audience, right? So that focus and putting 100% can actually really help you. Now, if your ideal customer asks you, hey, by the way, do you also do this? Then of course you can branch out later on. But this is what specialization really does. It makes you focus 100%. It makes you put all the effort in it without distraction, without confusing. And guess what? Sometimes you can actually even charge more because not too many people will specialize in one area, and you're the only one in town. That means your demand is low, but your price is higher because nobody else does it. So you can actually raise the price as well. And this is something not just in photography in general, because I do get a lot of questions from startup community and from other businesses who want to start something new, and they always think of big. And I always tell people, think big, but you have to start small. You have to start somewhere, because that concept of focusing on one thing until successful, it really works. Because even when I look back in my own journey, when I started, initially it was blogging, then video, then social. It was so many things. I didn't know what to focus on, what to provide, and sometimes you can actually cause an issue with your customer because you're not delivering, what you're supposed to do because of too many things in your plate. And this is where delegation and collaboration comes in place if you want to do expand. So that's what I would say, that this is very, very important. That in the beginning, especially if you're a beginner, my recommendation is that pick one thing. First, understand the fundamental, be the good at what you do, then pick one thing and see how that is going to work for you.
Well, that makes sense, and there's a lot of stuff there that to use and to grow from. So, thank you for sharing that. And I'm going to ask some questions that may make you narrow some of those things and give us a little bit more depth in maybe others. And so, thank you so much for sharing that, Yusuf. I'm going to ask that same question now of Mercedes. Mercedes, what have you learned so far? I mean, I know because you and I have worked together, but what have you learned so far, and how has that philosophy helped you to specialize, and how have you approached the decision to specialize?
Well, I think what he was saying was really on point. I didn't really have to think about what I wanted to specialize in. That's why I went to school. I wanted to learn my camera. I wanted to learn, how to photograph my horses and how to do it right and get those images that I was looking for. And so I never had to put a lot of thought into that, of what I'm gonna specialize in. So for me, it's just kind of putting your marketing, putting everything into that one you know specialization. It keeps it simple, and you only have so much energy to go. So but I mean, what I've learned so far from it is just find what you're good at, what you're passionate about, and then just keep going at it, keep putting effort into it, market for it, just put everything you've got into it, and it will turn around. It takes time, but it'll get there.
So, is that because people start noticing what it is that you do, or because you just get better at it?
I think you get better at it, like the more you focus your energy and your time on that one special niche, people start to recognize you for that niche, like they start to put your name with, hey, they're good at this. That's who I'm going to go to, that's what they specialize in. And so you become a little bit more of a specialty item, I guess, as he was saying, because you do specialize. I mean, I do all kinds of photography, but especially when it comes to horses, like that's my niche, that's my passion, and everybody locally that normally contacts me is horse people, because they
Yeah.
oh, well, that's the horse photographer. So that's kind of where it goes. And I've got past history of horse knowledge, so that just plays into that. And it's knowledge, like he was saying, of your equipment, knowledge of who you're marketing to, knowledge of the animals, just kind of the base knowledge. Because you have a lot of people that say, oh yeah, I can take pictures of horses, but they have absolutely no idea how a horse operates, and they're terrified of them. So at the end of the day, it's not going to work. So that's just that. Of course, that's me personally, but yeah, I mean it's so.
Cool. Well, thank you, Mercedes. I appreciate that.
Of course.
I'm going to ask the that same question now of Jero. Hey, Jero. So, what's your
Hey.
thoughts on this? You know, uh, I'll bring that question back up so you guys can see it. But you know, what have you learned so far, and how has it affected or caused your philosophy to change on the advantages of narrowing things down? Now, of course, someone might not start off narrow. Maybe they start off by just looking at a bunch of different things and then they narrow down. But what would be that motivation? How would you approach that decision to specialize?
First, I'm probably one of the newer photographers as far as actually having the business side of it. So first, I would say the learning aspect of it. You always want to learn and hone in your craft. At the same time, too, like you said at the beginning, you kind of don't really know what you want to do. I didn't know what I wanted to do exactly. I knew I liked sports, but I tried some event photography, some weddings, quinceañeras, and doing all the different things at the beginning. You kind of whittle down to what you like more or have a passion for. So, like mine, it just became sports. Like I said, I'm a sports guy, and it's helped me because knowing the game, you can kind of, I consider it like a chess match. You can kind of predict the different moves that are getting ready to happen, where the action's getting ready to happen on the field, trying to catch that, peak action of the person getting ready to go down for a dunk in basketball or a header in soccer. Um, I would also say with your niche, like everyone was saying before, you can kind of use your how do I say this? Your advertising, when you have your flyers, your promotions, putting all your effort into that, social media, and then people like start realizing like, hey, Ro does some good soccer photography. He does good basketball. I try to do a little bit of all the different sports, just because, like I said, I have the knowledge for it. But if you're not exactly sure to, find a mentor. My mentor right now is uh, Tony. He shoots for Kens Five. He's took me under his wing a bunch of different college games. I've learned a lot from him, and then I'm taking that knowledge myself and some of the different high school kids that are learning how to shoot. I'm passing that knowledge on. So, like I said, it's all about learning and just finding what you love and taking it from there.
Tony is a good guy. He's been a panelist here before. So and so has some. You mentioned someone else that you got to know well. I think at some event, Guy T. He's been a panelist here
Oh
as well.
yeah.
So so the people that you're surrounding yourself with are good people. We agree. Good choices.
Thank you. Thank you.
Of course. All right. So the next question, since I've got you here, I'm going to ask you the next question. Let's see. Let me bring that one up. I want you to describe your philosophy on how specialization can have a positive impact. Maybe you felt that a niche has the potential to set you apart from other photographers. Maybe you feel it's helped you to get a particular client. But I want you to describe that philosophy on how specialization has a positive impact on you, but in general as well.
Well, as far as me, I would say that specializing that one area, like I said, for me, it's sports. Just seeing the images that I produce and capture for people, and then once they see those images and just the way they light up, or I always call it the tilt. I have one picture of my daughter in track where she's in first place running over the number one, and she's looking at it on the wall and her head's tilting to the side. Just those photos that capture emotion and drive for everyone. Like I said, as far as the videos that I do, the highlight videos, If anything that I can do to get the coach's eye, to attract to that individual and make them want to do a college visit, or gather that person's email and contact information. um, I'm here to assist with that also, because there's not a lot of people in the local area that kind of can drive people down the road to success, as far as getting those different scholarships and financial aids that they can for their athletes in club sports.
Yeah. So I mean it makes it obvious for you, since that is your passion. You're doing stuff that's already along your lines of the things that you enjoy, that keep your ideas coming, that wake you up in the morning with excitement. So yeah, this sounds perfect. Sounds smart.
Oh, thanks.
So I'm going to ask that same question now. Let's ask Yusuf that question. All right, Yusuf, what or can you describe to me your philosophy on how specialization has a positive impact? Now, in general, but also for photographers.
I mean, if it's in general, of course, I mean, people are going to call you by that specialization. Without even mentioning the name, you become the brand. If they, like, for example, when I do consulting, they already know like what kind of the problem that I'm going to dig from their issues and solve it, and they get the solution. That's what they always look for, right? In general. Then you have other businesses or other beginners that want to get into digital marketing. They learn from you, or from myself, for example, and they improve in their business. Now, for photography, it's the same thing. I mean, it's about branding. It's about when people think about that specific skill that you have in that small niche, then they're not going to mention your name alone. They're just going to just think of that, what you specialize in. It becomes like a reference for anybody. Oh, this person is good at this, or Mercedes is good at that, or Ro is good at this, right? It's automatic. It's like it's stuck in their head. Does that make sense? So that's why it's so important that when you focus on one niche or specialize in one area, you become the expert automatically without promoting yourself as an expert. So that's a positive thing about thinking about this in the beginning.
That makes sense. Yeah. So in the beginning, what about as it progresses?
Well, as you progress, I mean, remember, your fundamental is perfect. Right? Your fundamental is so good. Now, when you expand or change or add something new, you're not doing it because you want to. You're doing it because, okay, how can I expand this skill to help my ideal customer, to help the customer, or even my ideal audience, at the same time, grow my business? Because you cannot be stagnant in one area, right? You gotta have some growth. You have to think like, what I'm going to do in 5 years. Am I going to sell this business? Am I going to collaborate? Am I going to do something other than just this one thing, right? So this is what's going to happen, and you have to think about these sort of things.
Yeah, that makes sense. And a lot of times, photographers don't have a business that's sellable. Because of the nature of what they do. Now, it doesn't mean that that's not the case always. There are times when it's a sellable business. So maybe that's part of what they're going into when they're choosing a niche, that they know what is coming, like you said, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, whenever they decide they're done with this, what happens? What's the exit plan? And maybe that's something that should be discovered, or at least considered in the early stages of photography business.
Actually, they can learn a lot from you, Jim, because you have years of experience. You're doing this show. Eventually, you know what? I have a feeling that you might even have some sort of course that you're going to sell it, because now you're putting the skill into an education where people can pay for it, whether monthly or just one-time course, or even write a book. So your skill can be expanded. Right? Yeah. Even like a while back, when some of the photographers come to my workshop and ask me, okay, I'm good at this thing, but sometimes I'm very tired. I want to spend more time with the family. What can I do where the money can come in without me just doing the work? I said, okay, are you good at giving reviews on all these awesome lenses and cameras and whatnot? I said, yes. Blog about it. So when you blog about it, or do a video about it, or do a live streaming show about it, now you can use some sort of technical affiliate marketing. So you can sign up as an affiliate with Canon, Akon, all these companies, and you give an honest review. We have awesome followers, subscribers, and readers that trust your feedback, and they're gonna click on that link and they're gonna buy the product, and you're gonna make a commission, for example. Or take all that knowledge, right? Put it on Udemy, put it on Thinkific, put it on Teachable. Now you have some sort of where the money can come in because people know that you're the expert. They want to learn from you, right? So that's how you expand. You don't have to really just stick to one thing. Or you know what? You can also collaborate with other, photographers. Hey, how about I'm going to be the broker? I'll bring you the leads. Let's split, right? This is the business mindset. That's how you have to like evolve to that way of thinking, because eventually, even though you love your skill, you're very passionate about it, but you also have life, you have family, you have other stuff that you want to, dedicate your time to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, thank you for sharing all that. All right, so let's ask that same question now of Mercedes. Let's bring her up. Mercedes, can you describe your philosophy on how specialization is going to have a positive impact?
I think it's, kind of like, I can't think of his name. The first guy said is, like just seeing people light up, like when they see that image and stuff, like that just, I don't know, that's like the best part of it, it's just seeing people and how excited they are to see that. And, but as far, I don't know, I've been sitting here reading this question over and over, and I'm not going to be real good at answering it. So
That's funny. Well, let's ask you the next question.
okay.
Let's see that one, and I don't have it set up just yet. There we go. Do you feel, where is that? There it is. I was too far below it. Do you feel like there are challenges or drawbacks in specializing in just one area?
Yeah, I think so. You've got to be pretty strategic about your marketing. Especially if you're only specializing in that primary area, your marketing is very important. Because if you're not reaching that client, then your specialization may not matter to somebody else. Like most people don't own horses, so for me, I wouldn't be able to reach the right people. So marketing, I think, plays a very important role in that. But I think that is a drawback and a setback. But again, it also sets you apart, from others that you do specialize in that area. So, I think it could go both ways, but I think that is the drawback of it. Would be making sure you have a good, strong marketing, which is something I'm still learning. So, you know,
Yeah. I guess with everything, there's pros and there's cons. And so thank
yep,
you for sharing your thoughts on what the cons could be, because that's important for us to know too. This panel is probably based on the title. You could tell that it's biased towards choosing a niche or niche, however you say it,
yep,
and that by sharing some things that are against the choice that you've made, I think viewers can be able to see see this from a slightly different perspective, so that they can have greater understanding. So thank you for sharing that with us, Mercedes.
of course.
I'm going to ask that same question now of let's see, Jero. So Jero, do you
Yes.
feel like there are some challenges, some drawbacks in specializing in just one area? And if so, what are they? And why do you think that, why is specialization, in your opinion, if you believe this, why is it better even with those negatives?
I don't think that there's really any drawbacks to specializing in a certain niche. Only because just because you do have that niche doesn't mean you can't shoot senior photography or automobile photography or anything else. It just shows that you specialize in that one area. And like I said, for me, it helped me pick out my camera. So I'm a Canon guy, and when looking at the new Canons that were out, I was debating between the R5 and the R6. I ended up going with the R6 just because it had a faster shutter speed. Also, my first main lens that I use for sports is my 70-200, so it can kind of help equipment wise. Also, if you actually know which direction you're going, I mean, you wouldn't get a 15-35 to shoot sports all the time. I mean, there's a time and a place to have that, but predominantly you're going to have the 70-200 or the 300 or 400 lens, so you can reach out and get that action across the field or across the court or across the baseball field. So specializing does help equipment wise, because if you don't, then you can be like some other people that I've ran into that, they have uh, a program over here for this, a program over here for that. So you're starting to spend your money on different types of learning a little bit of everything and not focusing on your main passion or love. And eventually what can get you to a higher revenue source. A lot of the groups that I'm in, either on Facebook or Instagram, they do revolve around sports or different photography groups. So being in that space and advertising your work, people can see you. They can give you helpful can't even talk, tips and tricks also. Um, but all that being said, uh, yes, I'm pro niche, and I think everyone should find that one thing and then do a little bit on the side if someone comes up to you.
Those are some good examples. I mean, you have the things you're interested in. You're embedding yourself into groups and spending time with individuals who have similar interests to you, and that helps grow that. I mean, there's too much information in this world that we and of just the things that we enjoy. There's the things we like. There's too much information, and so when you're specializing. You're still not going to learn everything there is to know, but at least you are increasing your potential to know the things that you feel are important or that you learn that become important. You may not know to feel it at first because you can't know what you don't know yet, but you're embedding yourself into those environments. So that's a good way to do that. Is that something you've always done, or is that something you've learned through taking classes, or is that just you?
Um, that's pretty much me. Like, I mean, even besides the photography side, I, you know, I have an Audi, so I joined the Audi car club enthusiast, and I take my camera there, and I just
Yeah.
take some shots of everybody's cars and stuff, and I post those. And I've already gotten inquiries about, hey, can you come shoot my car? And, you know, hey, you need to bring the models over and shoot, with the rest of the group. So,
Of
I mean, that's just
course.
taking my love for photography and and moving it over to my love for my Audi. So, like I said, it benefits around networking.
So sports, cars, photography, family. Do you have 30 hours in your day?
Uh, yeah, I fit it in somehow, but I make it work.
And you get enough sleep.
Not really.
That's funny, Drew. Drew, I'm going to ask the next question of you, but I want to uh, talk to the viewers real quick before I do that. So I'll bring you back on. And you guys, I hope you're getting something out of what you're seeing today. And I want you to, I want to encourage you, hit that like button when they say something you like. Hit that love button when you say something they love. When you have a comment or a question, put that in the comments. Let us know that you're here, not just watching, but participating. We're encouraging that kind of participation. Besides, our panelists love to see those loves. They like to see those likes, and they like to see the comments and the questions in the comment section. That lets them know that you're here. So I encourage you to do that. So going back to the questions, I'm going to bring Jero back. Jero, that next question for you is how do you communicate the benefits of your niche to your prospects? Is it just obvious, or is there something special that you do, or something in your marketing that causes it to become obvious?
Pretty much. A lot of the photos that I take, I either put them on my Instagram or my Facebook. Uh, Also, they're on my Lightroom, so they're readily available on my phone, my little computer, as I like to call it. So there is a noticeable difference in the clarity, um, the positioning, because a lot of people in sports, it's either like a team mom or a player's mom that takes the pictures, and you can tell they're like, oh my gosh, how did you get that shot? And I'm just like, hey, I've been doing this for years. I kind of know the game and where the action is going to be. And as a photographer, like I said, going back to the learning thing with the different schools that I've been to, took class with Jim also. Um, you learn about the levels, shooting low, and if you can climb up to somewhere high and get that high shot, just always moving, never staying in that one place like most people do. By the time I get done with a shoot at a game, my feet are killing me, but it was worth it when you see the different shots that I was able to take, those games, and for the clients that do decide to go with me versus someone else or trying to do it themselves.
So you're putting in all that effort and pain because you believe that it's part of the marketing effort, that people are going to see what it is that you're doing. Am I understanding that right?
Yes, yes. I just make sure, like I said, I advertise my stuff when I can. Try to have my different free shirts on. It just I was at a restaurant the other day, just wearing a normal photography shirt, and someone came up to me and was like, "Hey, I like your shirt. Are you a photographer?" And I found out he was a photographer too. So people people that are in the know as far as photography, some of the jargon that we use, or like apertures and stuff like that, they'll see it, and especially when they see you with a big lens walking around the field, they're asked, "Hey, do you sell shots? Do you have a website?" And I do have a website that, I'll take pictures, throw them on the website, and people can go down there and they can print the pictures. They can get digitals if they want, and then if they want something more specialized, I always get on the Digital Pro Lab, and you can get some custom things down there, cups and keychains. So, hey, it's a win-win for everybody.
I like that you brought up Digital Pro Lab in your sharing. I try to do that too. Because just take this opportunity to say something nice about Digital Pro Lab. They care. The people who are working there are career people, and they want to do they naturally do a good job, just like the things that you're saying that you naturally just do. That's the kind of people who Amanda hires at Digital Pro Lab to for those positions. They love what they're doing. They care about what they're doing. They care about those around them. They care about those who they are serving, the photographers, and because of that, they are making us heroes. And so that's why it's easy to work with them. Would you agree with all that?
Oh yeah, definitely. I've been down there a few times where Amanda wasn't there, and I try to support local business. So I've gotten
Good.
shirts, stickers. Everyone there that I've engaged with thus far has been great. I've even had some of my photography friends are like, "Hey, are they hiring?" And I'm like, "Hey, you might want to go down there and check."
Well, maybe they need to specialize more so they can make more income in photography.
Yeah, true, true.
Thank you, Jero. I'm going to ask that same question now of Mercedes. So, Mercedes, how are you communicating the benefits of your niche to your prospects? Obviously, not the ones who have already worked with you, but those who are going to be. How are you sharing what it is that you do so that you get these new clients coming in?
I think a lot of it's marketing effort. I post a lot on Facebook. I actually grew my business off of Facebook. So I pretty much post, on Facebook, horse shots and the different angles, and kind of like he was saying too, you've got your equipment, so when you're out, you're shooting, people ask, hey, is this what you do? Is this what you specialize in? And especially carrying around a big lens, like 70 to 200, everybody notices that for sure. But it's definitely marketing efforts. Social media, any kind of platforms you can get your work on, that kind of thing. It's a lot goes into the marketing for me.
And I've seen that on your page. I try to visit it. I try to visit your page regularly.
I
Uh,
see you.
do you?
Yeah.
I don't.
I
I kind of want to do it more, but I try to come across it on purpose,
yeah, no,
every time it's related to the horses.
Yeah, I try to make that message very strong, because that's what I want to market to. That's the client that I'm looking for. So I try to make that
Yeah.
message very clear, and I try to post it very often, anywhere and everywhere I can, just to get that word out there.
And you're doing something that I really like as far as the marketing side. You're not only showing the photographs that you're creating for your clients, but you're showing yourself interacting. Like there's several images of you with horses and with your dog on a horse.
hmm
So that kind of thing where
Yeah.
it's not only just the job and I'm trying to make money with this, you're actually sharing that this is you, this is what you love, this is my environment, this is my comfort zone, this is what I enjoy. And so I like seeing those images that aren't just the marketing images. They're the I love horses. Here's the proof kind of images. And you're not even trying to prove it.
Yeah.
This is you.
Yeah, it is, and that's what I want people to know. Like, I can relate to them. Like, I want those images of me and my horse, so I definitely want to provide that to somebody, because that's what I want. So, it's easy, I guess, in that aspect. But yeah, I try to keep it, light, and I want people to know who's behind the camera too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, good. Well, thank
But
you
I
very
see
much
you,
for
and
that,
I
Mercedes.
appreciate you.
Oh, good. All right. So let's see. Let's ask that same question. Well, let's see. Yeah, let's ask that same question of who have I not asked that question of yet? Hmm. I guess I haven't asked. Have I asked Yusuf
I don't
that
think so.
question? Okay, I'm going to
I
ask you.
don't.
I got
Yeah,
off track.
I think it's him. Yeah.
Thank you, Mercedes. All right. So, have I asked you this question yet, Yusuf?
Not yet.
Okay. All right. So, how should a photographer communicate the benefits of their niche to their prospects?
Well, in addition to what Mercedes and Rob added in terms of giving that value, right? So there are many ways. So when you give the value, your objective is what? To attract your ideal customer, right? There's something that they're going to benefit from your service, correct? That's the core concept. Now, how you do it? Social media. You can do it offline through Meetup. You can do live streaming. You can share some tips and content about do's and don't. So in this situation, what happens? Two things happen. So if an ideal customer finds you, let's say finds your website, finds your social platforms and whatnot, they can see what kind of material you're putting it out there. So that builds your expertise, right? That's where the customer comes to you. Now, if you're going to reach or do reaching out for the customers, or do a call, or just reaching out, right? Finding customers. Now, if you do that, then you have to do some research about your target audience, like what kind of business they're in, what do they want, what do they like. Do some background research and communicate with that. You can show them, maybe in the website you have a stock photos. It's not good for your local brand. You should have something like more natural, more authentic from your own staff, for example. Here's a couple of examples. There's a couple of case studies, right? You can also see some of the work that I've done. So as long as you provide the value, right, trying to educate them, and they can see the benefit from there, right? But you have to sincerely provide it that way. because you don't want to do like, okay, I'm going to give you the value, but hey, you sign up for my, I'm not going to give you everything, but unless you're going to sign up for this link, it's going to expire in like 20 hours, something like that. No. So as long as you just give that value and think about what kind of material that, like Ro was saying, if I can use a social media channel to put it out there to kind of broadcast my expertise, right? By providing those tidbits of educational material, case studies, and tips, before and after, right? Those sort of thing. When the ideal customer finds you, they can see it. That's a good start. Or if you want to reach out, then you do have to research them and find out what they want, and even email them if you want to. If you just want to go old school, then just meet them face to face. That can also work.
A lot of good stuff, as always, Yusuf.
Thanks.
All right. So, yeah, I'm going to ask the next question of Jero. So I'm going to bring you back here in just a moment. All right. So, Jero, here's the next question. Assuming I didn't get off my where I was. So, how do you find the clients that are a good fit for your niche?
Ooh. For my niche, it's kind of easy only because, like I said, I'm kind of immersed in it right now with like club soccer and other club sports that I go to. Even when my daughter's not playing, even this past weekend, we were out at the soccer fields watching other people going to different high school games. And like Yusuf was saying, he came up with a good idea. I have this heated jacket that I got off Amazon. So now I'm thinking I might do an affiliate marketing, and it has my all about you media on there and photographer. So a lot of people, they stop and talk to me, and I can either give them my business card or have a digital card. So it's just being in the element, with camera, and people will stop me. And some people have actually wanted to see my work, and I just pull up my Instagram. Hey, here you go, and they look at it. And I've had people right there on the field, hey, let's set up something. Shoot me your schedule, and let's go.
Nice. Yeah. So it makes sense. I would assume that those who are watching are saying, well, that's the kind of thing he just does. That's the kind of thing he likes. And so, of course, they're going to see him doing that. Of course, that's easy. Guys, listen to what he's saying. He's doing the things he's passionate about. Therefore, everything falls naturally. He's not trying to push something that isn't natural there, that isn't normal for him. Why couldn't you take a page from Jero's book and do the same thing for the interests that you have? Now, maybe you're thinking, well, I don't know how to make money from that. Well, Jero may not have known how to make money from that when he started. He got into it and is not only learning but continuing to learn about it and growing his knowledge of what's possible and trying new things. Is that a fair assessment, Jero?
Oh yeah. Like I said, starting off, it was just taking some pictures for everybody. I knew my skill set was a little higher than most of the normal parents, but with the continuing education piece of it, like I said, I've joined a bunch of the different groups around Professional Photographers of America, of Texas, and the local group in San Antonio, going to their different functions and events. There's so many conventions and business courses that you can take on business photography, not just regular business. So, I mean, with the internet, and all you got to do is Google search, business
Or
schools for
look
photography.
at the person who's on the screen with you, because that's what I specialize in.
Yep. do the lunch with Landers. That's good stuff.
There you go. Thanks, Jero. I appreciate that. All right, so let's bring on Yusuf to answer that same question. Yusuf, how do you recommend that photographers find clients who are a good fit for their niche? What do they need to do to put themselves in front of that person?
mean, they have to understand their ideal customer first. Like, who are they targeting? If let's say if you take the cat photography, you're gonna target cat lovers. So if you're gonna target cat lovers, you have to understand something in our niche we call it the buyer's persona. That means what's the demographic, what's the background, what do they like, what do they shop? Because you want to understand the psychology first, right? These are your ideal customers. So that's the first thing. Then secondly, there are many ways that you can find those clients, but first you have to make sure that they're gonna really pay you very well. Because the way I do it, I look for customers that are in business for like 5 to 10 years, because for them that means they can afford a couple of thousand, hiring me for any kind of marketing niche. But for photographers, if you understand who your ideal audience is, that's the first thing you have to know. Secondly, you can utilize the internet. The resources is available and free. For example, if I want to understand, if I'm a photographer, I'm in San Antonio and I want to target cat lovers, I can go to, and everyone here has a Gmail account. You can go to Google Ads. Okay, it's free. Just be careful. If you log into Google Ad for the first time, it might force you to enter your credit card to run the ad, but hit that skip the setting for the running the ad and go straight to the Google Ad tool and look for keyword planner. Once you go to the keyword planner, you select San Antonio and tap the keyword, let's say, cat photography, and see what kind of terminologies and key phrases that your ideal customers are looking for in San Antonio. And when you click on those keywords, see what kind of information show up locally in your, let's say, in San Antonio area. Are these businesses similar to what I'm trying to do? Do they have a website? Do they have a Google My Business pages? Do they have reviews? Right? So that's step number one. Step number two, you have a Facebook. You can go to your Facebook ad manager, do the same exact thing. Select San Antonio, tap the word cat lover, and see what kind of demographic now comes up. Like how many men and women interested in cat photography? How many of them, what kind of pages they like, what kind of content they click. So now you have some information about them in case if you want to run an ad for that, right? You can also go to answerthepublic.com and ask that question. What do people like for what do they want from cat photographer? And answerthepublic.com will give you all these popular questions with answers. When you click on them, it will take you to Google to show you what kind of content is showing up. Now you have an idea. You have an idea about your ideal customer. You have an idea of how people are searching for it. Now I can put myself out there, whether like how Ro and Mercedes said, like, you can put in the social, you can do like a meetup classes, and just, present yourself out there so they can, so you can be visible, they can see you. If you want to do things organically. If you have an additional cash, they can run a couple of ads and target this audience to your service.
Are you guys taking notes? There's several things that he just mentioned in there. Of course, you kind of have to expect that with Yusuf. He's got a lot of stuff to share with you, and he's excited to share it with you, which is why we want him on a show like this. Thank you so much, Yusuf.
Well,
all right, so let's ask that same question now of Mercedes. So, Mercedes, how do you find clients that are a good fit for your niche? You mentioned Facebook earlier and a couple of other things. So, what do you have a plan for this? Do you have something that happens regularly? What is your system for finding clients who are a good fit for your niche?
Well, I have a couple different things. One of them is marketing. And Facebook, I have a lot of groups that I'm on that are primarily horse related, that go to the horse industry. So I'm constantly putting my face out there in front of them, showing them my work, sending them my website. Any kind of traffic I can get. The other thing is events. Any kind of events that have horse people and horse lovers. Go there, put my cards out. Sometimes I'll take my camera just to shoot, and then I have people stop me and I always have a card on me. But it's kind of being out there with those type of people, finding groups on Facebook that have those types of people, just being able to find them on the computer and off of the computer. But I think showing your face too is important, so they know who it is behind the camera. They know you're local, that kind of thing. So I find a lot of clients, from being out there with people, Even if I just go watch, an event or, something like that, I'm always meeting people, always talking to them about, my passion, showing them my pictures. So it's kind of a combination of, getting out there and seeing people, and then also, figuring out how to market to them on the internet as well.
Yeah, a lot of good variables. And if you were to add something, what would it be? Even if if it's something that you have maybe been thinking about, or maybe it's something that you can't do just yet, but you want to do. Do you have anything that's in that category of ways you want to expand that?
I mean, I kind of have gotten into a little bit of something different lately. That's actually fairly new that I kind of just got into, and that's maternity pictures for horses and baby pictures for horses, which I did not know there was a market for. I just had a friend that her horse was going to have a baby, and I was like, hey, let me like do maternity pictures for her. That would be cute. And so it's kind of taken off, and so that's actually something new
Love it.
that I in one day last weekend, I made quite a bit of money just doing a maternity session and baby pictures of horses. So I was like, well, this
Great.
is different, but I mean, the market's there. You wouldn't think so, but it's so. I mean, that's something kind of new. I've actually just started, so it's a little different. But it's great
Love it.
because I mean, they're cute, and people love cute stuff. So
Heck yeah. That's great. That's fun.
yeah,
I
yeah.
love stuff like that. Thank you for adding that to your answer. All right. So while I've got you here, I'm going to ask you the next question. And this one's a little bit long,
Okay.
but what advice would you give to photographers who are struggling to find their niche, or who haven't even considered it yet? And if, of course, let's, consider the money side, because if you're in business, obviously we're in business because we want to make something. A lot of people say things like, well, I'm not doing it to get rich. Okay, nobody's doing this to get rich, so stop saying that. That's just your excuse
Yeah.
mechanism. And so
Hmm.
what are you doing? You're doing something, and you have to define what that something is, and part of it is making money. So including that into, or at least considering that in your answer.
So I think the big thing is whenever you're trying to find what to specialize in, find something you're passionate about. Because if you find something that you're passionate about, you're not going to work. It's going to be enjoyable. It's not going to be a job. And that was something I definitely did not want my photography turning into, was a job. It has at points, but I try to get it back to, not being business related. I want it to be a passion and I want it to be fun. But kind of how I got started was a lot of free shoots, a lot of just getting my name out there, a lot of practice, to get my skill where it's at, to be able to work on things. Tons of free shoots, and then kind of slowly started charging. It's been a process. It has not happened overnight. I'm still definitely growing, but you've got to start somewhere. And so even if you just charge a little bit, and then you up your price and you up your price, and then eventually you realize your worth, and you're able to raise that price, and people are willing to pay it because they do know that that's your specialty, that's what you do. But the big thing is just find something that you're passionate about, something that's not a job. And for me that was, I didn't even have to think about it. Horses, I've been crazy about horses since I was 11. So that wasn't anything I needed to think about. But I would say that, find something that just really, brings you joy, something that really catches your eye, something that you feel like you're good at. Put your heart and soul into it, and then just try to just start charging it a little bit at a time. But it definitely was a process. It didn't happen overnight. I had to start small, had to do a lot of free shoots, a lot of giveaways, a lot of just get my name out there. And like I said, I mean, I'm still not that big, but it's been a huge work in progress. So I just don't give up, just keep doing it, and eventually it will pay off.
Good. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Cool.
Mhm.
Thank you, Mercedes.
You're welcome.
Let's ask that same question now of, let's see, Jero. Jero, what advice could you give to photographers who might be struggling? I mean, For you, it's what you normally do, and I think that's just plain smart. But others may be struggling with the same thing. They may not see it as something that was just normal or natural or easy or however else it might be described. So how should those who are struggling or not even maybe they haven't even considered specializing yet? What thoughts and advice could you give these guys?
I would probably say um, almost along the lines of when my kids were little, try everything. Go out there because besides finding your niche, it's I think it's more important to find out what you don't like because let's say you there and shoot a wedding and you try a wedding and you're up for 8 hours and you're hating yourself, your feet are hurting, you've missed the main shot. It's weddings are a lot of pressure. I've done a few myself, and I'm not a wedding guy. I know that now. I'm more of I'll be a second shooter at a wedding, but yes, definitely find out. You know, you might find something that you didn't know that you'd like maybe senior portraits. You might go out there and try it one time and then be like, hey, this is not too bad. And then jump into Photoshop and start editing the photos and realize that, hey, maybe I need to specialize in this and not just like say sports photography that where you initially thought you might go. So I would say it's more important to find out what you don't like rather than just trying to concentrate on the niche only because sometimes it's hard. I mean, you might pick one thing, go with it, and then realize down the road, you know, maybe I should, pivot and move and try this other, avenue, which is fine. You can always change it, at certain points in time in the career. But yeah, definitely know what you like. Like Mercedes said, you don't want it to feel like a job. I mean, like I said, even though my feet hurt sometimes, I wouldn't change it for the world. I love being out there. I love capturing those moments, and that's the advice that I would give to a photographer just starting out is just get out there and shoot as much as possible until you can whittle it down to get that niche.
That's good advice. I mean, we definitely want to include what do we not like, and you find that some things ahead of time you don't like, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't at least try it. I tell me if you can relate to this. I know someone, I'm not going to say who, but someone who said they didn't care for a certain food. And so I figured, well, this type of food, it has to be prepared right, or it does taste bad. And so I thought, well, I want to give them an opportunity to try it when it is cooked properly. And they wound up liking it and have continued to like it ever since. I think it was just because they hadn't tried it, haven't given it a shot. And so maybe some of the things that we think that we don't like, maybe we should give it a shot. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I would say so. Originally, I wasn't too keen on uh, like some of the senior photography, just having to
Yeah.
pose people and put them in different positions. But I've done it a few times now, and I'm getting more engagement from people that are asking about it, and I'm actually starting to like that. I mean, and it does incorporate with my sports because a lot of the people are, athletes, and of course, doing the senior stuff, they'll be in their, basketball outfit or their soccer uniform or band or track. So you can kind of, do a little bit of both, but still be true to yourself and in your main niche.
And one of the viewers asked a question. I don't know if it was posed to you or it may have been Mercedes, but it goes along with what you're saying. So I'm going to go ahead and bring it up and have you answer it. It's asking about volunteering. Is this something that you do maybe for just for your education purposes or to benefit some nonprofit or cause or something that you believe in?
Yes. Volunteering is a good way to learn skills. is a good way to shadow somebody. And then once you, that's a good way to learn the information. And then once you do that, you can volunteer to give back for shoots. I did a shoot for the city of Converse here for Veterans Day, and it came to the end, and they were like, "Well, how much do I owe you?" And I said, "Nothing." I said, "As a veteran myself, this is my gift to you all," and they're just blown away by that. And like I said, I got some great images out of it. I enjoyed my time there. I was happy to be there in the crowd, let alone capturing that moment with my camera. Volunteering is a big part of shoots, also.
Cool. Thank you for adding that one question to it. I appreciate it, Jero. All right, let's ask that same question about advice now of Yusuf. So bring him on. Yusuf, uh, what advice can you give to photographers who are struggling to find a niche or who haven't even really considered it yet?
That's an awesome question, actually, because there has to be a little bit of a shift in thinking. Because most of us think like when we struggle, it's a negative thing, but in reality, it's not. And the reason it's not because those that don't struggle, they don't succeed because they quit. They just quit right away. They just couldn't handle it. Okay, I'm just gonna, go back, do nothing, right? But the fact that you're struggling, that means you still have some hope there. You still have some, that's actually a positive thing. So you gotta change that way of thinking. And secondly, when you look at the problem, when you look at so many opportunities out there, so many, let's say there are 200 ways to find out what niche should I get into. You might think, oh my God, 200 ways. When I'm gonna have the time for it. But if you change your thinking, that's like, wow, 200 opportunities. If it had the first one didn't work, I still have the second one, third one, and fourth one. So you have an abundance of opportunities. If you look at it that way, your behavior and mindset will be a little bit different, right? Because when you come, and the thing is, struggle is actually should push you to work harder, not the opposite, right? So, because even if you work out, if you go to the gym, you're not gonna just build the 6 or 8 packs in 1 week. That takes a year or two, right? That's how we have to look at life. So first of all, struggle is not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. And remember all the time that people that quit, they don't struggle. They just, too easy, right? But the fact that you're doing it, that's a good thing. Second thing, if you remember from Mercedes and Rose, if you notice in the beginning, what did they say? That Rose said that he knows the sports stuff. That's his environment. That's his network. Mercedes talks about the horse, right? And she knows that stuff very well. Guess what? You possibly have an area or a network in some specific niche, not necessarily, but if you work in a tech company, right, and you're so good at it, maybe you can use your photography niche for that, for your tech company, for example, or that network, right? Because I even work with some creative agencies that didn't even have sites. They have a business card, but they were able to close like 50 to 10 grand a project. Why? Because they were in that vicinity. They were actually already there. So sometimes you might not even think that, well, wait 1 second. I'm in this field. I'm in, I don't know, fitness. I'm in the martial arts. I'm there. Why not I can utilize my skill now or a niche in that area, for example, right? Then you have to do the research. You have to take the opportunity, because even though the information are like, oh my God, there's so much information out there. If me and Jim go back like 20, 30 years ago, it was kind of a little bit extra challenging. But now with the internet, with the technology, with abundant resources, actually you have no excuse not to find the answer that you're looking for, right? Sometimes if you do struggle, and I know you have families and other bills to pay, it's not a shameful thing to go back to 9 to 5. It's not a shameful thing even, ride a DoorDash or Uber for a while until you pick yourself up, right? Because sometimes it will not be, it might be not the right time for you to find the niche or succeed, but stick to it. Be consistent. Even if you can spend 20 hours a week or even 10 hours a week, even if you spend like 2 hours a week, stay consistent and keep it up. You will eventually going to find it.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, and you're right. It's just part of progression. These the struggles, these frustrations, these bumps in the road that we hit, you don't reach your own personal definition of success without these things. Not hitting them, just like you said, is not success. That's called failure. That's called quitting. When you don't run across problems and things that you're having to solve and things that make you uncomfortable, those happen because you're on the road to success.
Exactly.
So good point. I'm glad you brought that up, Yusuf. That's good. That's real good. So I've got I guess, a general question for you, and I might ask this of the others as well. But maybe just a general definition of what specialization or what niche is, because I'm going to share real quickly a little bit about my philosophy on it, and I want you to share yours, compare, contrast, however you want to with it. But to me, choosing a niche is something you do because you enjoy that. It gets you up in the morning. You've got a lot of energy for it. You like hearing the subject. You would do it in your part time anyway. These kinds of subjects are that kind of interest to you. Add that to, you don't have all the time in the world to learn all the different types of photography that are available out there. You don't have the time to do the marketing for every single type of photography you have the ability to press the button in front of. You don't have the budget to do an effective job of marketing all the different things you have the ability to press the button in front of. And so there's all these negatives against doing everything. It just makes sense to narrow down to just the things you thoroughly enjoy. But I don't believe you can do that successfully unless you've got a plan to do it. And so if I feel like it's just like a road trip, when you decide I'm going to go to some place, you look at a map, you look at Google Maps and find out what the best route is, because there's a lot of good roads. And just putting yourself on a good road doesn't cause you to reach success. It causes you to wander. And so niching down, specializing just seems to make perfect sense, in my opinion. What do you feel about what I said, or share your own personal definition?
I mean, exactly like I said, if you don't have a map, where are you going to head? Right? Where are you going to go? You're going to end up you're probably going to figure it out then. But as long, like I remember Mercedes said that, like if you have a strategy, if you have a plan, and then you do the test. Because here's the thing, I like what you said. You wouldn't know until you try it. So when I give advice for some folks about what do you think about this particular thing? Well, I don't think this is good in that. Okay, why? Have you tried it? Yes. Okay, good. You had experience. But if you haven't tried it,
Right.
why should I take your word for it? You haven't tried it. And that's why if you don't do it, you wouldn't know. So there's this thing I used to say all the time: take action fast so you can fail fast and fix it. Right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
don't wait.
That's easier said than done, but you're right.
Yes. Take action fast. And it's better for you. Again, like you mentioned, failure doesn't mean, to me, failure when you stop, that's failure. But when you fail at a certain things, it's actually a good thing. I don't know if you're in the BJJ, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I get smashed all the time. I mean, that's a term in the BJJ. But the more I get the neck choke and armbar several times from a 15-year-old kid and a 6-year-old guy, it actually inspires me to go back and fight again several times, and you get good at it. This is the amazing thing. I mean, it humbles you too. But the thing is, you have to take the action. If you don't take the action, you wouldn't know, right? And guess what? Don't fail 5 years from now. Fail as soon as you can, because you can fix it quickly. That's it.
Love that. Now, because I didn't say it this way, not because you didn't do it. Those sounded like good closing thoughts, but just because I feel like I didn't ask you if you have any closing thoughts, that maybe I should have asked that question. So do you have anything else that you wanted to add to that before I move on to the next panelist closing thoughts?
Yes, never give up. Okay, never give up. I'm telling you, I know sometimes it's challenging, sometimes it's tough. You have other stuff in your life you want to take care of. Never give up. If your time takes away from your family, from other things, okay, lower that time to something like even 30 minutes, but never stop. And understand that opportunities are out there. Everything is available. You have to think like gold mines is everywhere. You're just looking at it, right? That's when your mindset is like this. You're not gonna be stressed. You're gonna be under pressure, but not stress pressure. It's gonna be like amazingly like fancy, happy pressure, right? And that's gonna make you keep moving forward. That's all I have to say.
Yes. Oh man, thank you, Yusuf. Good stuff. I appreciate you and the energy that you have brought to the show, and been, willing to just volunteer and give us as professional photographers. I mean, we enjoy what it is that we do. We may not specialize, we may not do all the things that we think we should be doing, but we definitely have a passion for it. And so we appreciate your passion and energy that you've brought with you today. All right, let's give let's see, Mercedes an opportunity to give her closing thoughts. Hey, Mercedes, hope you've had fun with these questions. You've given some good insights and good responses. Do you have anything that you could share with us to just some closing thoughts that you may have?
I think the main thing is just keep, keep moving forward and just, keep trying. You need to try so you can fail. Figure out, you're not going to know what that niche is unless you try and fail. And, I guess a big thing is nobody's going to do it for you. So you've got to get up and do it yourself, but just keep at it and it will eventually pay off.
Nice. Totally agree with that. And thank you for bringing your energy, your experience, your knowledge, your the passion that you have for horses and the other things that you've mentioned. Thank you for bringing that with you to share with us this evening.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. All right, let's give Jero an opportunity to give his closing thoughts. So, Jero, you've given some good insights, and you make it seem just like, well, this is just how it happens. This is just normal. This is just natural. This is just, how it is. And it's kind of, I think it's cool to be able to see it from that point of view, because I think a lot of us struggle with that thought of, should I specialize, or should I just take every job that comes along? I mean, after all, I do need the income, so therefore I should take anything, right? And in some instances, yeah, you should experience a lot of different things. That's, at least I think that's what you mentioned. And in trying things, you learn the things you like and you dislike, and that causes you to do a better job of focusing. So, what do you feel is something that you could share as a closing thought with us today?
Never stop learning. That's my main thing right now. Is I was a big YouTube university learning photography, but there's nothing like having personal interaction with some of the different groups that I've been going to recently over the last probably about year and a half. What is it called? Different podcasts that I listen to on the daily. YouTube videos, still do those, of course, but just don't ever stop learning. There's so much out there. Some of these different groups, like I said, professional photographers of San Antonio. Some of the people I've met there are kind of help mentoring me still. Just the knowledge that they can pass on to you, and that might be able to help you find your niche. So get out there, meet people, show love and share love, and then you'll keep it going. That's all I have.
Nice. Love it. And you're right. There are so many good resources out there. And some of them may be obvious, just ask Google a question, but also, you mentioned PPSA, the Professional Photographers of San Antonio, is a wonderful group that's been around for quite some time. I think since maybe 1969, a long time. It's not the oldest camera club in town. The Greater San Antonio Camera Club is. They started in 1951. But there are, I think, and I could very well be wrong, but I believe there are 33 photography groups in San Antonio. And so you can find a lot of information and put yourself in the middle of all these people. And so I really like what you've brought about immersing yourself. Just, I know you do it naturally, but for those who don't find that naturally, immersing yourself in the things that you want to do and you want to learn. You've taken a lot of classes. You've visited with a lot of people. You've put yourself in situations where you're learning not only the photography side, but the business of photography side, but also the thing that you enjoy, the Audi Club and the sports, the different things that you do in sports, especially the soccer. You've put yourself in a position to see this from lots of different points of view, and it's just because you love it that you do that. And so I find that fantastic.
Oh yeah, and going to Texas schools in April, week-long training,
That's coming around.
all photography, all week.
Nice. Well, thank you, Jerome, for being here, for sacrificing whatever it is that would have happened this evening so that you could share your knowledge and experience with the photographer community. So thank you so much for being here. I'm going to bring you and, of course, I'm going to bring you and the other photographers back here in just a moment. But for right now, I'm going to bring back Amanda. Amanda, another great group of panelists. How do you feel?
I tell you every time, the panels are just like the best. We never know what to expect. You never know exactly what
that's
he's
true.
going to say. It's all very different. I love every single one of their perspectives. They definitely had a lot to say. I always learn stuff from it. So I hope, you've learned stuff and everybody watching has learned something from their very unique journeys to getting to where they're at right now and where they're going to continue to grow in those areas. And, absolutely, we have to fail in order to pick ourselves back up and keep going. And I've said it time and time again in different discussions we've had, to be a business owner, it's not easy. Not everybody is going to succeed, but it's that get up, pick yourself up after you've gone through some stuff and you keep going because you're passionate and you found something that you truly love and want to be successful at. That's really all it is. And finding your niche is a huge part of that because that's what's going to sustain you. I know in printing, I hear it time and time again. Why are you doing printing? Printing is dead, blah, 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 right? You hear it a lot, but I know the value of it. My customers that, we focus on know the value of it, and we focus very, very clearly on that. We are the place where photo takers become printmakers. And those are the people that we want to work with. And I definitely hope that, any of the panelists or any, I know we have a few of our customers on the panel today, but anybody listening to, if you want to understand and know that value, we're always happy to help you grow in that avenue as well, because that's our focus is to make sure that you and your customers understand that value. So yeah, a lot of great information. So thank all the panelists. I love them.
Absolutely. You guys that are watching, do me a favor, do us a favor, click that like button, click that love button, make a comment. If you think that our time has any value to you, any of the comments that you made has any value to you, take a moment and tell us in the comment section. Let us know how you feel about it. Just something as simple as thank you is going to uplift us and fuel us and let us know that what we have done is beneficial to you. Take a moment to do that. I'm not going to take any time to let you do that. I'm going to keep on talking though, but please do that. So our panelists have shared their wealth of knowledge and their experience with us. And we trust that you guys have taken something away from their valuable insights and practical tips. Success requires passion, drive, and determination to turn your dreams into reality. So let's embrace our passions. Take action on what you've learned today. You're not here just to listen. Taking action is what changes you. Never stop striving for greatness. Thank you for joining us, and we wish you the best on your journey to success. I'm going to bring the panelists back on one more time so that Amanda and I and you can say thank you one last time to them before I let you know what the upcoming classes are and what other stuff is coming. So let's bring back Mercedes, Jero, and Yusuf. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We appreciate it. Thanks a lot for having us.
Thank y'all so much. It's very valuable what you've done today. And you know, it's definitely going to continue to be on several YouTube channels, on Facebook. You know, so share it with your friends that may not have made it. Those photographers that are watching, as well as those that are on the panel. We want to keep that moving. I know we send out a weekly email through digitalprolab.com where people can even go back and reference some of the older episodes as well as this one. So be good.
You guys rock. Thank you, Mercedes. Thank you, Jarrell. Thank you, Yusuf. See you guys later. I'm going to take you guys off, and Amanda and I will be on for a little bit longer. So, Amanda, man, love these guys. Do you have anything? I mean, I know you've just gotten back, but do you have anything that you wanted to share with us?
I do. I at least have, yeah. I mean, I came back, right, hitting the ground running. I've got the class that I do want to share with everybody. If that's all right, Jim. Let's see.
Heck yeah.
As you know, Digital Pro Lab has, you know, because we do so many things, we thought we'd take on one more. And, you know, one of those things is photo nights. It's been incredibly successful, and we've been able to help lots of photographers, you know, of all types, grow in their craft, as well as bring everybody together with, you know, mixer events and stuff. So those things are coming up. But the next one that I want to share, which is actually next week, it's photo nights. It's called Fix It in Post. Yours truly will be teaching the class. I get lots of requests because of how long I've been working in the business, working with photographers, doing my own photography as well. I'm pretty much a master at Lightroom and Photoshop, especially on the retouching side. I try and keep my skill level way up there so that when our customers come into the store and have questions or, you know, issues that they're having with their images so that they can print them and so that they're beautiful, a lot of those issues come in lack of knowledge on the retouching side. So as portrait photographers, a lot of times you're having to go and do blemish removal, flyaway hairs, fix a lazy eye, or, you know, some of these extra things that are going to actually elevate that image so that your clients can look the best that they can. So I'm teaching a class next Wednesday. It's March 22nd. You can register at digitalprolab.com/events. Just look for that date, March 22nd. It is limited seating because we only have so much space here at the lab. If you're here in San Antonio and can join us, it's going to start at 7 p.m. It typically goes for about an hour and a half, but we're going to do a pretty good general overview of about 10 of the top best ways to enhance your photos, still make everybody look wonderful, natural. We don't want them to look overproduced, but we're going to use both Lightroom Classic and Photoshop techniques so that you can actually see how to improve in that level. I will tell you, I don't teach these classes very often because I am very busy, as you very well know. So I hope you take advantage of that. That class is $25 plus the little registration fee through Eventbrite. But it's very affordable. So if you have an interest in learning retouching techniques for portraiture, join me next week, and also look forward to seeing you hopefully at the next photo nights, which is actually going to be another mixer event. That one's on April 7th, where we'll bring, again, the community together. It's super laid back, mixer, music, light show, all that good stuff. So I'll talk more about that at the next Portrait Profits. But for now, hopefully you'll register for my class. All right.
That's a good, all of them are good. But Fix It in Post, this is, some people make fun of I'll fix it in Photoshop. But it's just a tool. Photoshop, Lightroom, these are just tools to help you get what you want. It'd be like I'm against using hammers if I'm a carpenter because there's something else that can do that. No, you use the tool that's the right one for the job. There's some things that you really should do in camera. So there are times when I do laugh about fixing it in Photoshop, but you're not talking about those those types. And so this is beneficial because we all need to learn more about the post-production process and what tools are there to help enhance and make us create the images that we have envisioned that we want to share with our clients. We want to share with them our best possible work. And so therefore it's a continuous process of
Especially if you're
learning.
going to print, because if you're going to print and you don't really know the proper way, the proper brushes to use so that you don't have, incorrect use of those tools, and those things will absolutely show, especially when you're doing wall prints, like huge wall prints and portraits. You can see the difference between a very novice person in Lightroom and Photoshop and somebody that really understands that when it prints, you got to have it right, because you really get one shot unless you want to pay for it again and do it again.
That's right. And that's interesting, because there are certain tells
Mhm.
that if you know what you're looking for, you'll see them. But there are some tells that you don't even need to know what you're looking for, and you'll notice them.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I guess you'll be sharing with us a bunch of those things. So I'm definitely encouraging you guys, take advantage of these opportunities. They are beneficial. You're going to grow from them. Thank you, Amanda.
You're welcome.
You guys rock. I'm glad you had a great vacation.
Yes. Good. Although now I'm starting to get tired. So
Well, perfect timing, because I'm about to announce the upcoming shows, and I guess I can uh, say thanks for all that you do and all that your team does, and we appreciate you, Amanda.
thank you. Me too, Jim.
All right, so you guys, you know this, but we have the Portrait Profit Show every single Monday, and we have the on every Monday. It's at noon, with the exception of the second Monday, like you're experiencing right now, where we have a panel and we move it to 6:30. But every other Monday, it is at 6:30 in the evening. And so I want to share with you the next show that is coming up a week from today. And that show is called I Guarantee It. That again is at noon, 1 week from today. So put that on your calendar at noon on Monday the 20th, March 20th at noon. Put that on your calendars. I guarantee it is not just a slogan that someone might say, because you believe in creating trust with your clients. If there was a problem, you would fix it if it was in your power. So the next logical step would be to define what that is. In other words, create a guarantee. By the way, it's another great way of standing out from your competition, because a lot of photographers don't trust their work enough to put a guarantee on it. In the next episode of the Portrait Profit Show, we'll discuss how to create your guarantee, and I'll share with you mine. Again, on March 20th at noon. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention here today. And thank you for all of the efforts, the extra work that you do, that you're just going to do to grow and continue your education in photography, so that you become an even more amazing portrait photographer. I encourage you to like and share the Portrait Profit Show. And of course, tune in next week to the live stream at 1 week from today at noon. Together, we help achieve our goals and make a difference in the world through our passion for portrait photography. Now, get out there, continue making those memories and evoking those emotions to bring happiness to others. For Landers Photography School and Digital Pro Lab, my name is Jim Landers, bringing you the weekly Portrait Profit Show, giving you evolving content, awareness, and even fun as we unpack the mysteries of the business side of portrait photography, with tips, insights, and help with the struggles that you deal with now, so you are constantly realigned to the success that you deserve. Thank you for investing your time here at the Portrait Profit Show. Bye-bye for now.